I'll admit, this kind of video topic is fairly rare for this YouTube channel, but it does happen once in a while. Because if you know the way we like to structure these videos and the conversations that we like to have, generally breaking down injury news isn't really up there on the list of priorities. But when it comes to some of my favorite teams, there happen to all be stories at the same time about this kind of stuff, which is why we're going out there and making this video here, talking about some of the latest in terms of unfortunate injury news around the league. This isn't even it, by the way. There still are extra things to go out there and talk about in regards to injuries. Trent Frederick in Boston has been taken out, but of course, I don't really want to focus on the Boston Bruins. Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks. Let's also talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins, too, because a lot of these stories happen to be released around the same time. So, as always, the show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. Let's start things out by talking about what's been going on in Montreal, as they do have a game later today against the San Jose Sharks. Now, it was revealed via a series of tweets on Priyanka Emrith's Twitter account that, firstly, Josh Anderson is going to be playing today against the Sharks, which is amazing. Good to see that for him. He did take a big run into the boards in the last Canadiens game. It was a very concerning play because he was going full speed pretty much. He ended up flattening himself on the boards there, so it was concerning at the time. Maybe not concerning anymore, considering he will be playing, so good for Josh Anderson to be able to shake it off. We also had another injury update from Priyanka Emrith, though. Habs say there will be an update on Kirby Dach in 24 hours. So this update isn't technically an update. It doesn't give us much information as to what's actually going on. It's just the Canadiens saying, yeah, we're gonna let you know what's going on with this guy tomorrow. And this is a little bit of a red flag for the Montreal Canadiens. This was the tweet from a few days ago during the previous game. Renaud Lavoie said that Kirby Dach seemed to be clutching his right knee on his next shift after this, not the one that he was operated on. They're still evaluating him, so let's hope for the best. So, speculation. Not going to go out there and diagnose anybody or anything at this point, but speculation says that Kirby Dach's knee might be a little bit banged up, and that is, of course, concerning when you understand the injury history that Dach has had. Yeah, it's been no secret that the guy has been one of the more, what's the word? Injury-prone, I guess, is the right way to toss it out there diplomatically. He's been very injury prone the past few years, and I guess if you're gonna go out there and start chalking up a wish list for the Montreal Canadiens, maybe a legitimate second line center is right up there. Unless you wanted to try the Ivan Demidov experiment at center, that of course is an option, but still, if you wanted to go with Kirby Dach as your long-term second line C, I think it's a very realistic question to be pondering at this point as to whether or not that's even a good option. Is he capable of playing that role? Is he capable of being healthy enough to sustain that role for 82 games, for multiple seasons, for the long term? Is that really possible here? We'll, of course, get our update tomorrow. We'll see if Kirby Dach is going to be out for an extended amount of time, or if there is just some sort of a quick fix to this. He rubs some icy hot on there and then he's okay to go. But for now, this could be a little bit concerning for the Montreal Canadiens and Kirby Dach's situation. But shifting gears over to one of my other favorite teams, I wanted to go over to Vancouver. Take a look at this tweet posted by Rick Dhaliwal earlier this morning. Bad news for Noah Juulsen. Take a look at this. Sounds like his season is over. Surgery this week on his hernia. And that's a really small tweet, but it's got some pretty big implications behind it. Let's go out there and read some of the replies. Cody Sievertson replied here saying, he was out earlier with an injury and made a brief comeback. Was he trying to play through a sports hernia, Rick? He was playing with a hernia. Whether you like him or not, he is a warrior. And this is one of these things where it's like, yeah, we can all acknowledge that Noah Juulsen kind of sucked this year. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can be nice to the guy because he got an injury and he got surgery, but he was not good this year. That doesn't change the fact that he is a warrior, that he was able to go out there and play with a hernia, apparently, or at least he only got the surgery done recently, so who knows if the hernia is new or not. He's a local guy, big booming body. Of course, there are good positive things that Noah Juulsen brings to the game from an entertainment value point of view. He can really blow guys up with his body checks. And the hometown angle will always be something that a lot of people will focus on. There were some stints where Noah Juulsen on the penalty kill was actually pretty effective, and I don't want to take that away from him. There were some good moments, although I'd say the majority of his time in Vancouver in 2024-2025 was not great. He wasn't a good player, we'll say. But ultimately, this is not really good for him either when you consider the fact that this is a contract year for Noah Juulsen. Contract expires at the end of 2024-2025, making $775,000. So this, in a season where he only had 0 points in 35 games played, I mean, it's like, who knows what kind of money he'd be able to get on the free agent market now when you consider the play and the lack of actual consistent time and the injury sidelining him and the lack of production when he was in the lineup. I mean, he had 7 points in 54 games last year, but Noah Juulsen, for all he has gone through, has definitely taken a lot more of a negative turn in his on-ice play quality. So yeah, if there was any time for him to boost his stock and force a good payday in the 2025 offseason, it was going to be with these opportunities with Quinn Hughes out of the lineup and everything else. He just kind of got outplayed by the other two Petterssons and Forbort, who ended up becoming more of a staple on this blue line. So Noah Juulsen out for the year, it looks like. Vancouver Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, let's go out there and talk about one more guy. Because over in Pittsburgh, this is a name that I think a lot of Canucks fans have been really interested in over the past year and a bit. Take a look at this. Michael Bunting had surgery to remove his appendix, per Mike Sullivan. He will be out for a while. Now, this is not the first time we have seen this season a guy going out there and removing his appendix or getting an appendectomy. John Gibson in Anaheim, Cayden Gooley, similar thing. In fact, I think particularly about one story of Ryan Getzlaf whenever I think of guys getting their appendixes removed. When Ryan Getzlaf got his appendectomy and then he was back playing with the Ducks like a week later. You know how crazy that is? The fact that athletes' bodies are able to really fix themselves and get back in the tip-top shape after a surgery like that, removing a small part of your digestive intestines. And then it's like, okay, a week later you're playing hockey again. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Obviously, for guys like John Gibson and Cayden Gooley, it was a little bit different. Gooley still isn't playing. John Gibson was back for a while, and then he got hurt again, which is very unfortunate. We'll see what happens with Michael Bunting here. It's not like it's a pretty dangerous thing for the Pittsburgh Penguins, though. When you consider their team and the roster they've assembled, what their moves have been looking like recently, they've been in seller mode lately, so I don't think it's all too precarious for what the Penguins are trying to do this season to see Michael Bunting miss an extended period of time due to an appendectomy. But with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We got 4 guys I guess we could talk about in the comment section, from Josh Anderson to Noah Juulsen to Michael Bunting here as well. What are your opinions about all these injury updates and unfortunate news for the Canadiens and the Canucks players? Thoughts on the Pittsburgh Penguins as well, whether or not you think this is really unfortunate for them. We, of course, are wishing speedy recoveries to everybody involved here. Josh Anderson, hey, it looks like he already recovered. He's playing today against San Jose. Kirby Dach, please get better. It's better for everybody if Kirby Dach gets better. Noah Juulsen, this is going to be a big blow to him and his contract earning potential in the offseason. And then for Bunting, of course, we hope that everything works out well for him. Thoughts in the comment section below about the news that we had talked about. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.